All right, let's dive into one of the biggest puzzles in all of physics, the very strange case of matter and its mysterious missing twin, antimatter.
So, right off the bat, here's the question. And I mean, this is the one that really keeps physicists staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Our best theories tell us that for every single particle of matter, the stuff that makes up you, me, and everything else, there should have been an equal and opposite anti-particle. But when we actually look out into the universe, well, it seems like half of it just vanished.
Okay, so let's put on our detective hats for this one. We're going to treat this as a cosmic crime scene investigation. And our first stop? The scene of the crime itself. A universe that is just, well, it's fundamentally lopsided.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Everything you can see, everything you can touch, your phone, the planet, the stars, it's all made of one thing, matter. But the thing is, our best understanding of physics says this should only be half the picture. The universe was supposed to be a perfect 50-50 split, half matter, half antimatter. The fact that it's not, well, that's the whole mystery we're diving into today.
So, in any good mystery, you've got to get to know the suspects, right? So let's meet the key players here, the particles and let's call them their mirror counterparts.
This whole idea of antimatter wasn't just pulled out of thin air. It actually came from the mind of this brilliant physicist, Paul Dirac, way back in 1928. He was just doing the math, working on his equations for electrons, when he saw something weird. His own math predicted a second particle, one that was exactly like an electron, but with a positive charge. And that's what led him to this incredible idea, that every single particle has a mirror twin.
And here's the key rule, the thing you really need to remember. A particle and its antiparticle twin, they have the exact same mass. They weigh the same, but, and this is the big but, they have the opposite electric charge. It's like they're perfect mirror images, but one's a plus and one's a minus.
Let's look at a few examples to make this super clear. The most famous pair, of course, is the electron, with its negative charge, and its anti-twin, the positron, which is positive. Same deal for the proton. It's positive, so its twin, the anti-proton, is negative. And get this, even particles with no charge, like the neutrino, have an anti-neutrino twin. They differ in other weird quantum ways, but the mirror image rule still holds.
And I want to be super clear here. This isn't just some crazy idea on a blackboard. No way. Just 4 years after Dirac predicted it, a guy named Carl Anderson actually found a positron in one of his experiments. And then, a little later, scientists started smashing particles together in these giant accelerators and made the very first anti-proton. Antimatter is real. We've seen it. We've made it. It's a proven fact.
Okay, so if this stuff is real, where does it even come from? Well, the answer is going to blow your mind. You can literally make it out of pure energy.
It's a process called pair production, and honestly, it's one of the wildest ideas in all of physics. What happens is you take a super high energy flash of light, a gamma ray, and it can just poof, transform its energy into mass. It creates a particle and its antiparticle twin, seemingly right out of thin air.
Now hold on, not just any old flashlight beam can do this. You need a seriously powerful gamma ray. We're talking a minimum energy of 1.02 mega electron volts. Think of it like a cover charge for creating matter. That's the bare minimum energy you need to pay to get one electron and one positron into existence.
Seriously, just picture that. You've got this flash of pure light zipping along, and then bam, it's gone. And in its place, you have two real, tangible particles that just popped into existence. A perfect set of twins, one matter and one antimatter, born straight from light itself. It's incredible.
All right, so we've seen how these twins are born from pure energy. But what happens when they finally meet up again? Well, as you might guess, the whole process just goes into reverse.
And this is the much more destructive side of their relationship. It's called annihilation. And it's the perfect opposite of pair production. When a matter particle meets its antimatter twin, they don't just bump into each other. They completely, utterly cease to exist. Their entire mass gets converted right back into a flash of pure energy, usually two gamma rays shooting off in opposite directions. It's like a tiny, perfect explosion. They just cancel each other out, and all that's left behind is light. The stuff is just gone.
Okay, so now we've got the rules of the game down, right? Rule 1, light can create a perfect pair of matter-antimatter twins. Rule 2, when those twins meet, they annihilate each other and turn back into light. With that in mind, let's go back to our cosmic crime scene.
So picture the very beginning, the Big Bang. It was this unbelievably hot, dense soup of energy. And in that inferno, countless pairs of matter and antimatter should have been popping into existence constantly. A perfect 50-50 balance. Now, as the universe expanded and cooled, all those twins should have found each other and, poof, annihilated. The whole universe should be nothing but a sea of leftover light. But obviously it's not. We're here. For some reason, matter won the war. A tiny bit of it survived, and that created this huge imbalance that we see today.
So let's just boil this whole thing down to what I like to call the boom rule. It's simple. Light makes a pair of twins, that's making stuff. Then the twins meet, they go boom, and turn back into light, that's stuff disappearing. So the really crucial point, the reason we exist at all, is that the universe we see today is made of the tiny fraction of stuff that didn't go boom.
And that, right there, leaves us with the ultimate question. If everything was supposed to be created in perfect, equal pairs, what happened? What tipped the scales? Some tiny, mysterious process must have created just a little bit more matter than antimatter. Just a tiny fraction. And this is genuinely one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in all of science. Our best theory, the standard model of particle physics, doesn't really have a good answer for it. So what was it? Because figuring this out, it's not just about a cosmic curiosity. It's about answering the most fundamental question of all. Why is there something here instead of nothing?